Service is an integral part to our community. As a Quaker school, service and stewardship are essential to who we are. We believe that the arts are not an extra, they are part of the core curriculum. Every student is an academic, an artist, and an athlete, whether they believe it or not. My name is Kim Major. I am the Director of Admission at George School. I am now in my 9th year at George School. And in addition to working in the admission office, I'm also an advisor. I live on campus. While I no longer live in the dorms, I still get to enjoy interacting with students who do live on campus. And my most important role is George School parent. My older son graduated in the class of 2023, and my younger son is an 11th grader here at George School. So I'm proud to be a George School parent as well as working in the admission office. Service is an integral part to our community. As a Quaker school, service is part of our foundation. Service and stewardship are essential to who we are. So students will have the opportunity for extracurricular and co-curricular activities. On weekends, we often offer service experiences. We have student clubs and organizations that focus on service, and our academic curriculum incorporates service. As early as 9th grade years, students will participate in service learning. As a required religions class for 9th graders, students take a class called Faith, Responsibility, and Stewardship, where they look at the connection between spirituality and the earth and nature. And as part of their studies, they actually do service on an organic farm and get their hands dirty and get to experience nature in a different way. We have other courses that incorporate service, a writing course on memoir where students are paired with senior citizens and work on writing memoir. In our finance class, students work with local citizens on tax preparation. In some of our science classes, we do testing of water. And we do international service projects that are tied to their academic program. In every discipline, students can be engaged in service across the globe. So we incorporate it from fun activities to academic activities and encourage students to create their own service projects as well. So it's a very big part of our community. So we believe that the arts are not an extra, they're not an add-on, they're not an extracurricular. They are part of the core curriculum. They're one of our core disciplines. And we have a variety of offerings in both the visual and the performing arts. Within the visual arts, we have painting and drawing, photography, both digital as well as darkroom photography, sculpture and 3D design. We have graphic design and ceramic. In performing arts, we have vocal music, instrumental music, music production. We have a wonderful theater program, both acting and directing, as well as set design and stagecraft. And we have a dance program and a phenomenal film program where students participate in local, national, regional, and international film competitions. So there is no limit to the opportunities that students can have within the arts. Students can come in with lots of experience and pick up on their interests, or they can start something new. Students will take arts in most years that they are enrolled at George School, and they can either choose to take 3 different arts classes, or they can devote all 3 of their arts terms in a year to one particular discipline. So students have the opportunity to just engage and be creative. So athletics are also an integral part to who we are as a school. We like to say that every student is an academic, an artist, and an athlete, whether they believe it or not. And all students will be asked to participate in team sports. Don't worry, if you've never participated in a team sport, there is a place for you. We have varsity sports and junior varsity sports, but in many sports, we also have either a 9th grade team or a developmental or an intramural team where students can participate and have fun and learn the sport before moving on. We have a robust array of interscholastic sports in 3 seasons. You can see our listing on the web, but we do like to point out that for those who like to ride, we have a 3-season equestrian program. And I would say people often ask, what is our best sport? We're good in many, many sports. The sport we're probably best known for is basketball. Our students do very, very well in basketball, and swim and track. We've been doing super, super well in. But that doesn't mean that soccer and tennis and field hockey and lacrosse are not incredibly popular. We have all of those and more. We're in year 3 of the new schedule. And it is fairly unique. There are only a handful of schools that break the year up in the way that we do. And what we do is we don't run our year on semesters or trimesters or even quarters. We break our year into 7 5-week terms. And in each 5-week term, there are 4 class blocks a day, and students will take either 3 or 4 classes in a term. They'll meet and have the same classes every day for 5 weeks, and then classes will rotate. It doesn't mean that you're only going to have 5 weeks of English or 5 weeks of math. It will repeat. So you may have English in term 1, term 3, and term 6, and 3 or 4 terms equates the content in a year-long class. We just break it up so that in any term, students will have no more than 3 or 4 homework assignments in a night. They can be deeply focused. They can really dive deep into those subjects and not be overwhelmed with 7 or 8 courses at a time. The schedule also allows us to allow students to add extra terms in subjects that they're passionate about. Maybe a student wants to be able to take both Mandarin and French. Well, they can do that in the 7-term schedule because they can add extra terms. Maybe a student isn't positive that they want to take a full year of a course, but because of the 7-term schedule, we can have smaller 1-term 5-week courses that give a student a chance to experiment. For example, my son, he is an 11th grader this year. He knows that in senior year, he wants to take either economics or psychology. He just isn't sure which one. So this year in 11th grade, he'll be taking a 5-week intro to psychology and a 5-week intro to economics. And that will give him the chance to dip his toe in and to figure out what it is that he wants to be able to take. What I think is the most fun benefit of the program is that it allows any student who wants to experience study abroad during the academic year. When we are on full year-length courses, students who are enrolled in IB and AP classes can't ever go abroad because they can't miss the content. They'll be really behind when it comes to the test. But in our 7-term schedule, one of your terms can be devoted to a study abroad term. I'm going to put my children in the hot seat and give an example again. My older son, when he was a senior, he spent the first week of term 4 here on campus doing intensive study in environmental science and the social and political history of East Africa. He then spent 2.5 weeks in Tanzania doing field work and service and exploration, and then came back on campus for the last week to do a wrap-up project. And then he picked right back up with his AP and IB classes. So he got that study abroad experience with George School faculty, with his peers, and he didn't have to miss out on his other coursework. So this schedule allows students more focus, more time, better sleep, and an opportunity to truly customize their path. And don't worry, you'll have a great advisor that will help to guide you and think about all the choices that you will have.